A bit later on, we went to have a wash, and there's no water coming through the taps. So we rang down and we said, there's no water in the taps. They said, no, it's in the bathtub. And we said, no, it's not. And actually, it was the Red Crescent, the Pakistani medical people who actually came into Prague, and we flew back with them on canvas seats on a plane. It was quite amazing. Amazing place to walk across the bridge in Prague, and all the statues and everything had all been broken down. It was quite an amazing time.
Yeah, Prague is such a beautiful city, but we realised when we were working there that so in the 60s that it hadn't, not unlike London or Dresden or Munich or Cologne or anything, it hadn't been repaired or fixed up, so it was still very decayed, and it was a real shame. It was a real shame, but we had a good time there. The water incident, I think it was a classic one of phoning down and saying, excuse me, we've got a problem with the water in our room. And they said, yes, well, what about it? I said, well, we'd like some. That's it. And there was none there.
Do you
I
ever
think we were six, so with a roadie, we were three in one bed and three in the other. Quite intimate, you knew, but it wouldn't have been the first time.
So that's the answer to this question. Somebody wanted to know, after all these years, why is it that you all seem to get along and are able to still work together? So I guess it was that moment, huh?
God forbid, no.
Do you run into situations like that? Just recently, Eric Clapton had to cancel a show in Thailand due to some political unrest. Have you had any situations arise in recent tours where shows have had to be canceled because of what was going on in particular countries?
We maybe had to cancel because they didn't have the right kind of M&Ms in them.
The brown M&Ms.
No.
You know why?
We always make the gigs somehow.
That is a true story.
We do. What?
About the brown M&Ms with Van Halen.
Yeah, well, you have to tell it on their cruise then.
Hey, they put it in the rider to not have any brown M&Ms to see how much attention the promoters actually paid to what they needed backstage. So that's the story with the brown M&Ms, if you wanted to know. Probably not. Okay.
Just saying about getting and making gigs. When we were chartering a plane and we landed at the airport where we were going to, and we rang the ground transportation, said, we're here, but we can't see our cars. And they said, well, we're here, but we can't see the plane. We'd actually landed at the wrong airport. And we had about 2 hours to get to the concert. We were miles away. So we tried to get taxis, there's no taxis. But there was this motorhome on with this little couple sitting, elderly couple, with a table and chairs, having their picnic, watching the planes land. So we went over them and said, would you like to take us in your motorhome to a concert, and then you come and see the Moody Blues? And they said, well, we'll take you to the concert, but we don't want to see the show. Thank you very much.
I guess I know the answer to this question, but I have to ask it. I mean, for most folks, there does come a time where they start to look forward to retirement and put the money away and what they're going to do in later days and stuff. But for as long as I've been doing this, 30 some odd years, I mean, there's only a handful of musicians who have ever really retired. So many of you guys are still out there doing it. So You know, why don't you ever, do you ever think about retirement, or why don't any of you guys ever talk about retiring?
Well, obviously you think about it, but what would I do if I retired? I'd do the thing I love. What do I love? Playing drums. That's it.
Do you have a kit set up in your house? Do you play?
Yeah, I've got an acoustic kit, I've got an electronic kit, and I've now just bought a little hand setup which I'm learning to use, which is a lot of fun. But and I've got a keyboard which I can't play, and 2 guitars which I can't play.
And I just want to let people know there's a couple of special events with these gentlemen. Besides what's going on today, we've got the 2 storyteller concerts tonight and tomorrow night. At 1 o'clock, in about 50 minutes, John is going to be signing copies of Natural Avenue, which he's just re-released on vinyl, and he and Roger Dean, who designed that album cover, they're going to be signing copies of that. That's up in the Galaxy Disco, I believe is what it's called. And then, of course, Sunday we've got Justin is going to be doing a performance of his solo album that came out last year, which he did a little tour behind and going out again. Graham's going to read some poetry, and John's going to toast us all with some more wine. He's got actually a new vintage he was just telling me about a couple of weeks ago, which is great news. And Justin, real quick, for these folks, how was the whole, you did the first half of the tour last year, the album.
Yeah.
How's that been? You have a DVD coming out?
Loved it, yeah. There's a DVD coming out. I was very lucky to find a guitar player called Mike Dawes, a young boy who's just such a wonderful player, and he's very sympathetic to my stuff, and so he does the stuff that I ever done on the records myself, you know, where I'm playing with myself. So, and he's such a wonderful player. Yeah, I play with myself on the records. Not going to have any other guitar player, please, on the records.
And then
that's great. There's a DVD coming out as well, Spirits Live. Yeah.
Right, filmed in Atlanta, I understand.
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was. Yeah, they filmed a couple of things, but this is from Atlanta. Yeah.
And then for those of you who may check out John's website and Facebook page, a couple of months ago there was just a little picture, dark picture, and there was a word underneath it. It said in the studio doing something. We really didn't give any details. So I was with John just a couple of weeks ago when they kicked off the tour in Morristown, New Jersey. So I said, "What do you got going on?" So you made it public to me because, as you know, I'm a reporter for hundreds of radio stations. So why don't you tell these folks?
Yeah, I just want to write and record some new songs and get out there and play the music. So, and just talk about retirement, you know, retirement is not an option.
And Graham, for you 2 years in a row now, and even before that all the time, you've always got great stories. You've done the poetry book. You need to do a memoir. Have you ever considered that?
Yeah, I've got a title. Yeah, I'm going to call it The Best Seat in the House. And I've got about 5 chapters, which I'll be reviewing on Sunday, is it? Yeah.
Sunday it is.
I'll be doing there's the Cops chapter, there's the Dates from Hell chapter. I got a lot of them. And I shall be doing the Groupies chapter, if there's time. Ain't gonna be time for the Groupies, I promise you.
And we're coming to the end of this session, so I want to wrap up with this. I thought this really told a tale of why everybody is here today and on this cruise. This comes from Chuck and Candy Sonic of La Crescent, Minnesota. Not a question, but a thank you to each of you. We celebrate our 40th wedding anniversary on our second Moody Blues cruise, so congratulations. Your songs were enjoyed in our teenage years, but have meant much more to us since 1985, when multiple sclerosis became part of our lives. We have since listened, laughed, loved, and cried more to the songs you have given to us, and thank you from our hearts for each and every one. I go on to say, Lean On Me has a very special meaning to us, and the verses help us to remember that MS cannot keep us from enjoying our love, old and new. Again, a very big thank you for delaying your well-deserved retirement. Hey, that segue worked out good. And for continuing to share your music and your lives with us, your fans for life. So there you have it. You're free to go.
Thank you very much,
Again,
everybody.
John Lodge at 1 o'clock, signing copies of Natural Avenue. We have storytellers tonight and more events with the Moody's over the weekend. Justin Hayward, John Lodge, Graham Edge, the Moody Blues. Thank you very much.